So we're going to be fitting one of these rear view mirror dash cams in. There's literally hook onto your rear view mirror, and it's got a reversing camera as well. What I'm going to do is kind of start. We'll probably do, yeah, start midway from the car. Get the wiring through to the back from here to start with. Probably through these panels or something. And then probably wire it through here. And then all the way up to the rear view mirror. Should be a fairly easy install. But yeah, let's get it started and see how we get along. So what I've gone ahead and done, pulled out this bottom seat, which literally just lifts up. There's this tab here, this one here. I pulled it up from that one first, and then this one, and then the seat kind of comes forward, and then this piece over here, it literally just sits in here, for me anyway. Don't know if it was meant to be stuck in somewhere, but yeah, I just literally pulled it forward from the bottom, from here, and then that comes out. Leave that out to the side, and then just in here, I've put the wiring through, so you can see that, and it'll come out just over here. Now, I haven't fully routed this in yet because I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go. I'm going to sort out the front first, but from experience I do know that these cables can run a little bit short. If that's the case, I'm going to have to figure something out there. But yeah, I'm going to, because it's an E93, the roof will all lift up from here. So I've got to see where I'm going to have space to be able to just have this cable okay and routed in. So anyway, the next bit, the cable runs down through here, under here, just there, and in through from here. I've taken off this whole rubber right up to, you can see it comes up to here. So I've taken it off from here, and then what I'm going to do is run the cable across from there into the rear view. So yeah, let's take a look. So what I've done next is, here's a camera and everything all kind of hooked up. Brought the wire from the rear view. I brought it, there's, I don't know if you can see, but just in there, there's that kind of little thing. So I've kind of wrapped it from that side of the rear view, and brought it in just to keep it held in, just in case it did ever run loose. And then sort of, if you can see in here, in the headliner, kind of put it in there, and then I'm just using kind of a trim remover tool just to kind of pry it in. Obviously doing it with two hands is a bit better, but yeah, so just doing that as we go along, and that should allow us to get it in, and then we'll run it down in through here, across here, and then all the way down and out. Tucked it right across into the carpet over here, so it doesn't get trapped anywhere when you're putting in the trim pieces. So it's going all the way across down there. What we want to do is get the power supply installed now. So what we'll be doing is pretty much the same thing, but on the opposite side. So that's where the power supply will go. Using this has got a 12-volt cigarette lighter. Goes in there, route it along here, and then if you can see, I've already brought it down here. Now this is something that's specific to my my kind of installation, because I'm sort of kind of hardwiring this in, let's say. What I'm going to do is fit one of these little contraptions, and where I'm going to plan to put it is probably about here. Oh, look at that. That's like factory fit, that is. Somewhere along those lines anyway. I don't know if that's actually going to fit just like that. If it does, then wow, but yeah. So what I'm going to do is kind of hardwire that in there. So for that, there's a long tie clip I've got just over here. It's coming from the top over here. I've got it hooked in by another cable. But essentially, I'm going to tie, I'll show you exactly how. I'm going to tie this cable to this to pull it up. There is another option, which if you see around the side, you pull. I only found this out a little while ago, but if you can see in there, you can see my finger in there, and you could just pull it through there as well, but as I've gone this way already now, I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing and then just see if that'll work for me. And then yeah, essentially once that cable gets pulled up, want to kind of get it nice and neat into the headliner, and the next bit is just going to be wiring in this bit. So we've got pretty much everything where it needs to go, so that's where I'm probably going to put this, because that'll give me enough space to get that in there and then tuck it away, and I'll be able to keep on the voltage if I need to, and yeah, it's just accessible overall. Probably put a tie clip or something in there. However, I've got one issue at the moment, which is that I was using this kind of piggyback fuse holder thing as the live to go into one of these. I haven't decided which one yet. I've got to find one basically. However, for some reason these blades aren't reaching, or they're not long enough, so I'm gonna have to order a new one of these. And basically what I've done, chopped the old cable off, and that's just a block connector in there, wire that up, and then the earth I've put into there. That little Torx in there, it's a T30 I believe it was. Yeah, the earth I've put in there, so it's all self-contained in here, and it's basically hardwired, and nobody's going to know that it's even in there. And yeah, that'll do the job. However, for the final bit of this, I need to figure out how I'm going to connect this up. Once I get that sorted, I'll get this up and running. So I've had this turn up. There's my old one. That was not going to do me any good. So it's got an extended kind of tip on it, and I have checked it, it slides straight in. It's so much better. So yeah, and then I've gone ahead, chopped the wires, put a little block connector on it. I'll put some insulation tape over that as well, just to keep it nice and safe. Plug this in, and we should see this all working now. Let's take a look. So we've got the camera wired up there like that, screwed into this bracket here, so I can still obviously press the switch. I did try and mount it kind of in here, but that didn't work. What I've done behind this kind of liner, the wire is running along here into this, through here. I've tried keeping this as clean as possible. In here, and then the reversing camera, I've got it going into here. That's the live for the reverse switch, the reverse bulb. And what that does is once you go into reverse, it'll go into it put the reversing camera mode on. And yeah, I've just got the wires kind of literally now coming through. I've put insulation tape on the joints. I had to get my extension lead because my original wiring would only come up to here, so this is it was about a 2-meter extension, and I've got quite a bit left over, as you could probably see. But yeah, so there's a bit of it here, and I've probably got a good half a meter left at least. So but yeah, it was the only one I could find as an extension. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's all wired in there. Time to give it a go. Right, so now it's time for the party trick. So I've left the car for a bit, went away, had a bit of a food break. And what I'm going to do now is unlock the car, and in theory the dash cam should have turned off, because so the wiring on these cars, or the electronics on these cars, from my understanding, they leave the circuit live for about 30 minutes, after which it all cuts out. So in theory what that does is, after you've parked up, the dash cam will still run for 30 minutes, which if you've gone to the shops or something, if you're in a supermarket, it'll protect you against any, you know, sort of quick visits. And the second thing it'll do, if you see any kind of dodgy behavior going on, then you can quickly turn on the live just by pressing the lock button again, hopefully, and that'll give the dash cam power, and you can record any kind of dodgy behavior that you might see, with very little kind of indication as to what's actually going on. So I'm just gonna lock the car for a second, and just, well, I'm gonna press the lock button, just see if the dash cam turns back on. Yes, so there we go, it's just come back to life. So that'll happen every time you unlock the car. It'll stay live for about 30 minutes. So I checked it about 20 minutes in and it's still running. And there you go. So the dash cam's there. And before I left, this was on about 12.4 volts. So okay, so it's fluctuating between 12.4 to 12.6. So we probably haven't actually lost any power in that half an hour as well. Which, even if you did, it would essentially charge back up once you start driving. So this is how I've got it at the moment. I mean, it's all roughly wired in. Fuse number 18 is what I had to use in the end. Just keep this circuit live. And what I'm going to do with these USB ports is also have my wireless charger here plugged in. So that's going to run through there, which is another story, but yeah, that's also going to power that, which will give me power to the charger even when the car is turned off. Because with the cigarette lighter or any of the other, say, USB sources, once you turn the car off, unless you've got the ignition on, it'll cut power. So yeah, that was no good to me. So this will work a lot better. And here's my USB. So I've got to get through somehow. There we go. That can plug straight in there. Probably will do something a bit more about exactly how I'm going to have this sit here, because at the moment it's not quite ideal, but I mean, it's working, it's doing the job. Right, so we're all fixed up over here, and I just wanted to do this in night mode, so you can see, obviously, I mean, let's turn the lights on. Okay, so that's what it's like out there, and that's what you can see over here. So it's still quite decent. And going into reverse, there you go, that's what you can see in reverse. So yeah, it gives you a good idea. It seems to flick in and out at times. I think that might just be the wire that I've got connected there. But yeah, so that's kind of a normal view of what you can see just over there, coming behind you. I haven't really tested it out, but in a few days I should be able to kind of see what else there is going on in it.
So I feel like I just figured something out there. These are all the different sort of settings you've got on it. So if you want to adjust anything, probably have a play around with this. But I'll leave that for a daytime job. But yeah, there you go. That's how that's done. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope it helps.